What's up, kind people of YouTube? My name is Ahmed, and welcome back to yet another review. Today, I wanted to talk to you about this film called Sector 36. I'm a little conflicted about this film for two reasons. One, I love the film as a thriller, I love the film as a standalone, but when it comes to what the film does, actually, I did not enjoy it as much. As you can see, a little conflicted about it, and I'll be very honest, I can recommend this film to a lot of people, but for a couple of things that I found a little odd in the film, I think it might not work for everybody. Now that that's out of the way, let's get into the review of the film. Firstly, let's talk about how the characters work in the film. I'll get to the performances in a while, but let's just talk about how the characters work in the film. And first of all, let's talk about Inspector Ramcharan Pandey and how he goes out to change the system. When you meet him as a character, initially he is not really somebody who wants to change the character, who wants to change the world. He's just trying to fit in, and that's about his character throughout. Something similar happens to his daughter. He's really out there and he wants to make sure that he changes the world, and that is something that I felt was a good character flaw to correct as a writer. But at the same time, that's about the only good thing that I can say about his character. There is nothing else that works for him as a character. There are a few things that really tick me off about his character. Firstly, the fact that he wants to change the system suddenly is a little too late for me. There are no moments in the film where I'm like, yeah, maybe he is the kind of good guy. I'm on the fence with the character. He had the potential as a character but did not work. Like, he could have been written better. Like, the incident that happened with his daughter could have happened a little earlier so that his character arc becomes a little better, a little faster. The approach to that conflict comes faster, and from the beginning he should have been shown as to somebody who's a nice guy but giving into the system, which does not happen. So the movie is based on the Nithari killings that happened in Delhi a few years ago, and that did quite shock the city and the nation. That is where my conflict comes from for the film, because almost everybody now has an idea of what happened during the thing. Like, everybody has a story in mind, a preset notion in mind, and the kind of idea that the director did take. The problem with this film, for me, despite its wonderful performances and how gripping the story is, my issue with it was they didn't go 100% into the film. I wish that they're like, okay, you know what, if this is based on Nithari killings, and we might as well tell you the full story. We are not going to allude to the fact that this is a take on the story. Like, if you look at Talwar, which is a great film, like, Talwar is one of the few films that I was so engrossed in because it had the duality where all the possibilities of the murder case were explored. In this film, they played it a little too safe, where they didn't want to come out and say this could have happened. They just said, yeah, maybe this is what we're working with. This is about what we're going to do with the film. That's it. And that kind of annoyed me, because I'm like, you know what? You had an opportunity to tell a great story and capture the minds of so many people, like how Delhi Crime did in its 2 seasons, how Talwar did in the film. But you chose to play it a little too safe. Like, almost every option is safe in the film, and that kind of takes away from the experience of the film. And this is something that comes from me as somebody who enjoys the film. Performance wise, every actor that was involved, including Vikrant Massey, and not limited to just him, every actor that is involved has done a brilliant job playing the character that they're playing. I wish the performances were not the only thing that I was praising. Cinematography wise, it's one of the better films that I've seen this year, because there are very few films that I can be like, oh, this is a wonderful shot. There are so many beautiful shots in the film that I'm like, okay, I really wish how they did that. I really want to know how they did that in the film. It had good performances, decent actors, a great story, but it fails because of the script and how safe the director wants to play with the film. I would recommend that you watch this film, because it's one of the few entertaining thrillers that I've seen this year, at least in the second half of the year. And I feel that it's a good film if you don't look at it from the Nithari killings piece. That's been my review, and see you in the next one really soon.